Introduction to Isaiah. Isaiah's name in Hebrew is yeshiyahu and means salvation of the Lord, Yah, an abbreviation for Yahweh, or the Lord God saves. As one who reveals divine salvation, Isaiah is one of the prophets classified in Catholicism as one of the four major prophets. Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, and Daniel. The four are followed by 12 minor prophets: Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, and Malachi. Modern scholarship typically divides the book of Isaiah into two parts, and then subdivides the second part into two sections. The major division consists of chapters 1 through 39 and chapters 40 through 66. The second part then is further divided and consists of chapter 40 through chapters 55 and chapters 56 through chapters 66. The major difference between part 1 and part 2 is that part 1 appears in large part to be centered on the late 700s BC, when Assyria was threatening to overtake the southern kingdom of Judah. The second part complements the first by appearing to focus, but not exclusively, on a few centuries later, the 500s BC, during the time and after the time when the Babylonians had conquered the kingdom of Judah and exiled many of its people. The main difference that Bergsma and Petrie highlight between the two sections of the second part of Isaiah is that while chapters 40 through chapters 55 focus on the redemption of Israel, referred to as Zion, the mountain where Jerusalem is located, in chapters 56 through 66, there's a greater apparent emphasis on the redemption of Gentiles along with God's chosen people. In comparing the different parts of Isaiah to movements within one symphony, Miller artfully explains how even though the different sections may have their, I quote, own historical context, the book as a whole is one symphony, intentionally woven together probably around 520 BC. He continues, I quote, "Whoever was responsible for the final form of this book knew what they were doing. While they kept the movements distinct, they put bits in the first movement that prefigure themes of the third movement, and elements in the second movement not only respond to things in the first movement, but bits of the first movement were designed in their final form around those elements in the second. So, for example, when we read something in the first few chapters of Isaiah that is associated with an actual prophet named Isaiah, the hand of the final editor of 520 BCE is also at work there." In contrast with the view that Isaiah was written by multiple authors, traditionally the book of Isaiah has been at least attributed to Isaiah. Internal data that lend support to the traditional view, comments Bergsma and Petrie, include that the latter part of the book of Isaiah is similar to the first part of Isaiah with respect to diction and theme, and both parts refer to the time of the 500s Babylonian exile and not just the second part. The references to the Babylonian exile by the prophet, who lived around 2 years before they occurred, can be explained by Isaiah's prophetic gift from God, who transcends time and who enables Isaiah to predict future events. This gift of foretelling the future does not mean, points out McConville, that Isaiah did not also speak a prophetic message, forthtelling. So difference between foretelling and forthtelling. And a forthtelling is a prophetic message that is directly relevant to a particular people. So Isaiah foretold the future by prophesying through a gift from God of what may happen, and also foretold message that were prophetic, that were directly relevant to his people. Likely, it will not be clearly resolved if Isaiah was written by one author, by multiple authors, or by a school that ensured the book as a whole is united. However, rightly observes Bergsma and Petrie, I quote, "Whatever various scholars conclude about the origins of the book of Isaiah, it is, of course, the final canonized form of the book that is theologically normative, and not various hypothetical earlier stages of composition."